techniques of lazy boy, so this one is kind of a weird one. You don't realize how effective it is until you do it. So run into a couple issues trying to get down here. So you got several different ways that a person can lock their half guard. Doesn't really matter, whichever way they want to lock it. They can lock it to the outside, they can lock their feet in, doesn't matter to me. Because the whole goal is I'm trying to get this knee up underneath the hip. Now, some things happen here, okay? This guy can unexpectedly dig an underhook, right? Now, we gotta make a call here. We're gonna cover this here in the next sequence, but we have to make a call here on how we're gonna deal with this, okay? We have to either fight back for the inside underhook, or we gotta change our direction, which we're gonna go the backside lazy boy off of this one as well. Call that the lounge chair. This one will be the lazy boy. So from right here, the guy is just really, really, really strong. Some dudes are just super strong. I got my hand here, and I just can't walk him. He keeps inching his hips out, and I just cannot pin him. He may be pushing off of the face. Now, most of the time, the reason I transition to lazy boy is because of this maneuver right here, okay? So I go right here, and I'm trying to flatten him out, and he's just building this frame, and I'm like, well, this ain't working. He's got me wedged out. Popping the hand off, I'm coming deep under the underhook, or under the neck. I'm gonna rock forward and hope he trails me, and I'm gonna bring him over, almost to the point where he wants to come up over on top of me. Okay, then I'm going to check the hip again right here. Okay, now at this point, I've got under the shoulder, okay? I've got my arm inside checking the hip. Now this high side hip is what kills him. Even if he kicks out, I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to pass. Okay, because this stopped me. So this is what I'm looking for. Now, a lot of times, I get here and he's flattening, I can't flatten him out. Hand's going to kick here and I'm going to lay back. Now, no matter if he tries to come up on top of me or not, it's gonna be really hard to do because I'm just checking on this high side hip. Now, what happens is generally is they figure out, okay, I don't got it. I'm just gonna lock down half and try to recover. As we get into a situation like this, I'm gonna get the head out, okay? I've got checking on the hips. Now, what I'm gonna start to do is I'm gonna scissor my legs. I'm gonna hold your guard, yeah. I'm gonna scissor my legs like this. Big scissor, okay? Left leg is now underneath the hip. Now, he's got a very unique problem here that he's going to have to solve, all right? The problem being that his high side hip is checked. He can't come into me, okay? He has no bottom leg down, so he cannot create any elevation. Can't get his hips off the mat because they're already off the mat, and he's trapped. The only way he's going to be able to address this is by opening his half guard. He cannot stay right here, okay? If he does stay right here, I'm fixing to address it, rolling back over. We're going to go cross mount. Okay, so from right here, most of the time what I find is they drag that leg out and they do a long step post. Boom. And try to snake this leg out. As soon as we do the same thing, I got my free pass. Okay, so here, I'm up underneath. I'm trying to flatten this guy. He's not letting me. Boom. Pop this. I'm going to go to my lazy boy. My hand comes inside and I rock him with me and check this high side hip. Now, if I've got the timing to go ahead and kick out, then fine. But if I miss it and he goes ahead and locks this up, I'm going to walk this foot in and scissor my legs. Okay, now, left leg is up underneath. He's off the ground completely. No dead feet. Now, at this point, when he figures out, okay, well, I got to come up with something. A foot has to go down somewhere to create any drive whatsoever. He has to drop a foot. When he drops the foot, the long step, and then push the hip, switch back out, and go ahead and pass. Okay, so quickly, I'm here trying to flatten this guy out. It's not working. I get down low, check the hip. Here, scissor the legs out. As soon as he figures it out, I step out and pass. Whoosh. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. A couple little small details we want to address is the leg scissor. Leg scissor, and then the importance of that forearm checking that high side hip, right? Because there is an escape here. I'm going to switch with him here in just a second, kind of show you. So I get here, boom, and I come out. He pulls his hand back in front, which he most likely will, and we wind up in this situation. And every one of you guys, if you guys will watch right here, very, very important what I'm going to do here. Notice my right leg is kind of in front of my left. So my hand is checking the hip. Because right here, it's a little bit more of a dicey situation if he's to open up and try to kick over the top. A little dicey. Okay, it's kind of, I got some good leverage, but it's a little bit more even than I'd like it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring this knee through the hole, and I'm gonna scissor my right leg back. So if you open up real quick. So essentially what I'm gonna do here is I'm like this, okay? I'm gonna switch and get to here. So he's here, I'm checking this hip. Now I'm gonna come right behind this whole assembly here that he has locked up, and I'm gonna use it against him. I'm gonna scrape, and I'm gonna drive that leg way up underneath his hip. Okay, so when I drive it way up underneath his hip, now I've got a couple options here, okay? So I need to get to this position. Very, very important, all right? Now on the flip side, if you notice, this creates a gap about this wide. Some of you guys were up here doing this, okay? Massive mistake. We gotta check this hip, because if he pulls his elbow up underneath him, that's what happens. So on the flip side, when he does this to me, I'm gonna pull this right side elbow up underneath this hip where I can elevate. So he goes into the lazy boy, I bring this hand back around, now he's got his hand high up on my armpit, and he ain't even checking my hip. Now he's gonna sit and go to the lazy boy. As he goes, look, there's some space here, especially if he gets me way up loaded on his hip. Now he's got me up here, but he's not checking my hip. So I'm gonna pop my elbow up underneath me. Now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step to the opposite side. Okay, and that gets me out. Huge, just pull my elbow up. Likewise, if I'm here and I'm loaded way up, get this elbow out. I can almost invert, come clean over the top. Okay, so I have to make sure that I check this hip. Now, if I try this with him and he checks my hip, he's got me loaded way up here. Can I check my arm up underneath me? Absolutely, but when he checks the hip, there's nothing there, and by the time I open up, he's long stepping out and he passes. Okay, so let's make sure we don't miss the hip. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Eventualities here, there's a lot of options, a lot of things they can do. So one of the most important things that he can do, probably choice-wise, is when we get to right here. Let's say I've gotten to here and I've shifted really well. Okay, I've got, my feet are alive. I'm checking my hip, but he's gonna be stubborn, all right? I've been in this situation before. One of my training partners that was helping me develop this years ago, and we started getting to the point where we just go real still. Like you're caught in a spider web, you're like, I'm not letting go. I'm gonna let go at the time it's like he's moving, and it becomes a race and a scramble, and that's about the best they can do, okay? But what happens here is we need to remember that the knee is what we want. So we've shifted here, okay? We've shifted to the point where now we want to get this leg out, all right? But he's not opening up. He's not opening up. He's not giving me that opportunity to long step. He could do it at any given time. We want the long step. Make no mistake. We want him to have that real nice long step right behind us. But we want to keep him from going over, but he's also not letting go. Just a super, super tight grip right here. He's not letting go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my elbow that's already in place, hopefully on the hip. I'm going to use my elbow that's already in place, and then this foot's going to walk right up here to the butt as close as I can walk it. I'm going to flare, and I'm just going to get the apex of the knee through. Okay, now once the apex of the knee comes through, now we've got some options. Okay, now this knee can go either across or it can come back through, and I can actually hit a bolo here, which we'll cover this in a little bit. But from right here, I'm going to shift my legs now. His hip's still up. If at any given second, he's still on my leg, any given second he decides, nope, he's too far, I'm going to open it up, I get the long step. Boom, there it is. But if he's still going to be stupid and hold, I get the apex of my knee through. Now I switch back, and I truck drive him all the way to the opposite side, bury the knee down on the mat. Okay? Now, for how we're going to finish this, we always run into that little issue where the back of the toe is caught, or the back of the foot is caught. Okay? So from right here, I'm already up under this far side of his underhook over here on this side. Take this above his head, high as I possibly can. Okay, high underhooks. Now I'm coming up on the opposite side, another high underhooks, shifting my leg out. I'm going to go ahead and finish. Okay, so back in the lady boy here. He's up. Several different ways I can knock this out. So it's here, all right? Using my elbow to get the apex of my knee through. Now I'm going to shift, drive his knee to the far side mat, and I'm going to keep him this way. Now I can also come backwards, start to work my way back. Get free, okay? Go ahead and pass out. A bunch of different ways that I can actually get out of this. For you training partners, this move, it's imperative. So we're going to do the dive through the bolo. Okay, so we're going to the berimbolo off of this, or kind of a half guard berimbolo. It's imperative that you guys do the right movement so your training partner understands that he's seeing the right sequence of action, the sequence of counters. What's going to happen here is as I kind of hit that truck driver across, drive my knee across to the mount, at one point he's going to realize by checking the hip, I got to get out of this. I got to shrimp out. That's exactly what's going to happen. So we're here, and I get into this lazy boy position here. I'm here, deep lazy boy position. I'm like, yeah, I got to figure this out. I'm going to try to, he's not opening up. Truck driver, coming straight across the middle, okay, driving straight across. Elbow flares this out, and as soon as I start to drive this knee across, about the second that he hits flat on his back, this hand here is going to end up checking my hip because he can't go anywhere else with it. It's not going to do anything. He's got to keep my hips away from him, and what happens there is as soon as he starts to feel like he's flat on his back, he's going to shrimp his butt out. So as I drive across, he shrimps his butt right back out, and this is what puts us in the position for the berimbolo. So from right here, he's got me in this position here. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to dive under. So I've been checking his hip right here. Okay, so as I'm checking his hip, I'm just going to dive through, and this hand is going to catch the backside leg. Over he goes, and there we go. Okay, so again, he'll hip out on his own to help you. Hit my lazy boy, got him up here, got him deep switched, checking my hip, okay? Flaring it out, getting my knee across. As soon as I go over the top, he just ratchets back out, locking everything up. Over he goes. If he stays long, come right up here, take him right back over, okay? Stays in a ball and tries to hold on to your leg. If it's fast enough, most of the time he'll hold on to your leg. Sometimes they'll just stiffen up, okay? Just roll out, have a chance at the back. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3.